Welcome to the Vienna Wald. This is the home of Oona Horx-Strathern, a researcher and speaker focusing on the future of living, architecture, building, design and urban development. Not only is she regularly seen on European conference stages, she also represents the rising global generation of women taking the stage. And, by the way, she's a brilliant author. We would like to talk with her about what she thinks regarding the current living trends. Hello!
Hi! Hi!
How are you doing?
Great! Welcome to the Future House!
Thank you! It's so great to be here. I'm very curious. That is great.
Yeah, it's a bit of an eclectic mix, but you know, it's what I call autobiographical living.
That is beautiful. The woods. Very nice. Feels good also.
Yeah,
Did you pick that one?
Yeah, it kind of came with the kitchen, but I wanted something really tactile, something that kind of looked like it had lived, that it had a bit of character, you know.
The kitchen is pretty much the center of the room, and there is a lot of light coming in. When you built the house, what was important for you?
Yeah, I think what we were trying to do was make it socially smart, the house. Everyone talks about the smart house, but I think what was important to us is to say, how can the family come together? So the kitchen is also the living room. It's like a living kitchen, if you like. And the idea was that's where everyone comes together. You can either work or you can help cooking. You can have a snack. It was supposed to be a little bit casual too, so we didn't want a formal dining table, so it's a kind of like a little bit higher, so you can kind of come and go. It's much more casual, and it's really worked. We call it the hub.
And the other rooms, they're then following actually the kitchen.
Yeah, it's a modular design. So this is the kind of central module, and then there's the children's module. Well, they're big now. And then we have what we call the love module, and that's the parents' bathroom and sleeping parts. So, and then we have the fourth module, which is our office, our home office, which we'll see later.
You told me once that the lighting concept is very important to you.
Yeah, we wanted to make as much natural light as possible, but then also, nice lighting for the evening and a bit of firelight with the fireplace. That was the idea of kind of making a warm heart of the home.
The kitchen, I think, for me personally, is a very important room. We cook a lot, and I think you do as well. There's already a soup getting ready, and it smells very good. You write in the home report about AntiTraffic Kitchen.
Yeah, I really think that we've just got a new focus on the kitchen. We've got a new appreciation of it, and I think we've got almost like a new relationship. We've like discovered the kitchen. Yeah. People have suddenly started using these stupid devices that, you know, they bought, that they never used, that they were just like for status, you know, the classic status kitchen. And now people realize it's really got to work. It's not just the heart of the house, it's the engine, you know, it keeps us going, it sustains us. And I think this will stay, because I think people are now investing. And having invested that kind of energy and money in the kitchen, they'll want to then carry on using it. Kitchens are a more social space. You're not locked away anymore, cooking, chained to the stove. And now it's become a social place. And I think people then wanted devices to show, like status, to show that, you know, the kitchen was important. But I think only now we're really starting to learn what we really need in a kitchen, which actually you don't need that much to be able to cook well. And we've seen, over the last year and over the last times, we've seen how cooking has become the new commute. You know, so that the time that people once spent stuck in a traffic jam, they're now at home making jam. You know, people have gained a lot with this new relationship to the house.
I brought you a little bit of something, a tea, because I heard that you like tea a lot.
Let's try it.
Yes, let's try it.
Okay.
Great. The pandemic has not only changed the relationship we have with our kitchen. We have reconnected with our home as a whole, as well as with our neighborhoods. I wanted to talk this through with Oona. So how much has the pandemic influenced your everyday life and your living space?
I think I've come to appreciate it more. I think I've really come to use my kitchen more, and I don't travel so much anymore. So I've really been able to rethink how I want to, how the house should evolve. What I can do to make it better, make it cozier, make it more adaptable, make it more flexible. It's been great fun, actually.
And you were talking in the home report about the trends of rehygge.
I think it's almost like curating. So you're curating your furniture. So you're moving it around. You're trying to maybe every month just move furniture around to see how maybe something that you wouldn't think would fit with something else, you just give it a try because you've got the time, because you've got the idea. And I think it makes for just more interesting living spaces, actually.
So that's how the homes changed. What about the cities? Let's have a look at the bigger picture. What happened there?
Yeah, I think on all levels. So from the home to the city, we've changed our relationship. We've kind of come to appreciate these things in a completely different way. For example, our neighborhood. You know, we couldn't go very far, so we discovered again the neighborhood shops or the neighborhood parks or where you could just go to get some fresh air. And I think that's been really important, this kind of discovery of community and neighborhood. Even if you couldn't really communicate with them sort of personally, you got to know maybe your neighbours over the balcony, you got to know them in the park while you were walking the dog. Yeah, you had a completely different connectivity to these places.
When it's about hyperlocalism, do you think it can really work that everything you need is only 15 minutes away from your home?
I think it creates a whole different life quality in a city, because then you're not standing in traffic jams, you're not having to travel a long way for all the services. And then you have a much better connection to your local area and to the people. You need that kind of support, I think. And I think it can only increase our quality of life in a city if we create these kind of polycentric areas, polycentric cities with, you know, very not homogeneous areas, but areas that offer everything you need. So, I mean, in France, they're doing it, and you've got to be near a bakery, obviously, a boulangerie for the French, for their baguette every day. But also near a park or a sport place, or maybe somewhere to go and talk to the local council.
Does it mean that local shops will get more and more important? Or what do you think, who will get a positive effect out of it?
I mean, I think what we're seeing is that people won't want to drive to these big out-of-town shopping centres anymore. Already in America, you can see they're redeveloping them into maybe community spaces, into universities. They're trying to get away. So people were rediscovering their local shops. And I think hopefully we'll see a revival in those again, because for a long time, the high streets, a lot of them closed down. But I think they bring back a kind of vibrancy to a city and, really create a lively atmosphere.
Oona believes that we can make our cities more livable again and that we will live more locally in the future. Working from home plays a big part in this. As this trend continues, we will have to find a compromise between our different workspaces.
Yeah, it's what I call my office.
Okay.
So, home office. But I think that's something that a lot of people are going to have to adapt to in the future, working from home. I like the word because it kind of reminds me of hope. It looks down onto the home. But this is my office.
Oh, wow. What a view.
Yeah, it can be a little distracting, but you could also say it's inspiring. I think in the past we all thought that we were going to work more from home because we all had mobile technology and we thought, yeah, great, we can all work from home. And then we had this big trend to co-working where everyone said, actually, I don't want to be stuck at home on my own. I want to go and be with other people. So the co-working system kind of really boomed. And now in a way, I think what we'll do in the future is come back to a kind of compromise. We'll come back to a kind of hybrid model of working. So people will work maybe 2 days of the week at home, maybe 2 days in a co-working space, and maybe 1 day in the headquarters of an office. I think people will be more flexible. I think there'll be more trust between employers and their employees and employers, and that way we can maybe adapt our lives to our work rather than the other way around.
I talked yesterday to a journalist and I wrote him very naturally like, oh yeah, well, I guess you're like everybody else in the home office. And he wrote me, you know what, no, I don't like home office. I prefer rather to go into the office and I'll work there. What will happen, or what solution is there for people that cannot deal with home office?
Co-working spaces are a brilliant solution because a lot of people live alone nowadays. You know, our highly individualistic society. Some cities have 50% single households. So these people spend a lot of time on their own. So when they work, they need somewhere where they can connect with other people, where they can exchange ideas, where they feel like they're part of a community. And I think we'll see a kind of revival in co-working spaces that will provide this function.
Somebody living in a single room, how can they deal with home office?
I think what we'll see in the future is when we have a block of flats, people who live in, you know, on their own, then they'll have a co-working space in the building which they can then share with other people. So you have these shared spaces, you have community spaces, so people aren't alone anymore. They can choose when they want to be private and they can choose when they want to be part of community.
When I look at this beautiful view and I see your sons downstairs in the kitchen, what is the future going to look like?
I think for them, the next generation, they probably won't live so differently to we now, but I think they'll think about maybe more flexible living spaces, they'll think about more mobility, they'll think about more adaptivity. So I think there'll be more, more ecologically too. So I think they are the great hope for the future, if you like.